A manhunt for the person who fatally shot conservative activist and father of two Charlie Kirk is over after President Donald Trump announced the suspect is in custody. 31-year-old Kirk was the founder of the conservative youth activist organization Turning Point USA. He was fatally wounded on Wednesday, September 10th during a campus event in Utah Valley University in Orem, Utah. Authorities have identified 22-year-old Tyler Robinson as a suspect who allegedly killed Kirk. Here is a timeline of how the shooting unfolded and how Robinson was arrested. According to Utah Governor Spencer Cox, suspect Tyler Robinson arrived at UVU's campus at 8:29 a.m. local time on the day of the shooting, driving a gray Dodge Challenger. Bo Mason, the commissioner for the Utah Department of Public Safety, said authorities tracked the suspect's movements onto the campus.
Through the stairwells, up to the roof, across the roof to a shooting location.
At 12:07 p.m., a crowd awaits Charlie Kirk at UVU, the first stop on Turning Point USA's The American Comeback Tour. Supporters start chanting Kirk's name ahead of his appearance. Around 12:09, Kirk makes his appearance and throws hats out into the crowd of about 3,000 people.
All right, we're going to get started, everybody. You know how it works.
12:11 p.m., Kirk begins speaking, opening debate and answering questions from individuals in the crowd. At 12:23 p.m., Kirk is hit with a single shot to the neck, appearing to come from an elevated position on a nearby rooftop. Video shows Kirk being carried by 6 men to an SUV, which transports him to Timpanogos Regional Hospital. According to authorities, immediately following the shooting, the subject moved to the other side of the building, jumped off of the building, and fled campus into a nearby neighborhood. At 12:52 p.m., UVU sent out an alert that police are investigating and that a suspect is in custody. The person of interest is released after questioning. At 2:22 p.m., the Orem Police Department said the shooting suspect was not in custody and is still at large. At 2:40 p.m., President Donald Trump announces in a post on Truth Social that Charlie Kirk has died from his injuries, writing, quote, "No one understood or had the heart of the youth in the United States of America better than Charlie." At 4 p.m., Utah Governor Spencer Cox clarifies during a press conference that there is a person of interest in custody who is being questioned.
To whoever did this, we will find you.
At 4:21 p.m., FBI Director Kash Patel writes in a post on X that the subject, quote, "for the horrific shooting today that took the life of Charlie Kirk, is in custody." Authorities later say the person of interest was not the shooting suspect and was released after questioning. At 7 a.m. on Thursday, September 11th, FBI Special Agent in Charge Robert Bowles announces during a press conference that authorities have recovered what is believed to be the weapon used in the shooting, a high-powered bolt-action rifle. At 9:56 a.m., authorities released images of the suspected shooter, asking for the public's help in identifying them. The FBI writes in a post on X that it is offering a reward of up to $100,000 for information leading to the identification and the arrest of the individual responsible for the murder of Charlie Kirk. At 6 a.m. Mountain Time on Friday, September 12th, President Donald Trump announced on Fox and Friends in New York that a person is in custody.
As I'm walking in, they said, looking real good. They have the person that they wanted.
At 8 a.m., Utah Governor Spencer Cox said at a press conference that Tyler Robinson, a Utah native, was identified as the person who shot and killed Kirk.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We got him.
He was taken into custody in St. George, Utah, on Friday. Cox said that after Robinson's father recognized his son in the distributed photographs, he told Robinson to turn himself in. Robinson initially said no, but later changed his mind, officials said. The father then called a youth pastor, who is also a U.S. Marshals Task Force officer. The officer advised the father to have Robinson stay in place. This information was then conveyed to the FBI.
I'm grateful that at this moment we have an opportunity to bring closure to this very dark chapter in our nation's history.
All right. So I'm going to quote you real quick. You said, if I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified. Are you going to do that?
Yeah, I mean that is correct. Yeah,
that's correct. Okay, so can we both agree?
What was the context of what I said, though?
What was the context? I don't even want to get into DEI because your opinion on DEI, it doesn't really help it in this case. So, if the context between what you brought up was that you believe that
because they were being hired because they were black.
Okay, so can we both agree that every single pilot, whether black, white, whoever, has to go through FAA certification?
No, actually,
we can't.
New lawsuit shows that black pilots and female pilots have the standards being relaxed.
No,
for them.
sir. Can we agree at the time of February 29th or 2023 when you said it at the time? No.
No, actually, I said it. That's why you don't know the context. Is that new lawsuits were showing that they were relaxing the standards for air traffic control and pilots in order to meet the standards.
The context of that was diversity, equity, and inclusion. What does that have to do with hiring?
Everything. DEI definitionally is that we will hire more of a race versus a different race. So, for example, United Airlines said that they want 50% of their new pilots to either be women or black.
Okay.
Currently, just so you understand, it's like 8%. So they want to go from 8% to 50%.
Okay.
And every time DEI is implemented, every single time, the lowering of standards occurs. Every single time.
Lowering of standards?
Correct. So can I prove it to you? We both want excellence, right?
Okay.
If you and I said, hey, we want 50% of the new people going in the NBA are white.
Okay.
Would the NBA drop in its standard?
No.
No.
The National Basketball
League?
League?
No, if we said 50%, if we say by...
50% of the NBA dropped and it was only white.
No, I
you're
said...
You're saying would the standard go down?
I'm not hearing what I'm saying. If 50% of all new people going in the NBA were white, by decree, would the quality of play of the NBA decrease?
Would the quality of play in the NBA decrease?
Yeah.
No, if they're the same standard of basketball player.
Hold on, let's talk realistic.
Well, what are you saying realistically? You're asking me if
75% of the NBA is black. 75%.
So does that mean white players are less better, or does that mean
whites are not as good at basketball as blacks?
Okay.
I mean, we got some big.
Everybody, calm down.
We got some big exceptions. I mean, we're very proud of Larry Bird. Okay.
No, he's good.
We're very proud of Luka and Nikola. However, the point being, let's implement DEI in the NBA. Okay. If all of a sudden 50% of all the players have to be white, which means they have to say no to otherwise good black players.
There was a time where this happened, right?
Well, no, I of course, and the league wasn't as good. That's the point.
No, you understand that there was a time where the exclusion of African American players was in the NBA, right?
No, for sure. I acknowledge that, and the league got better as blacks were allowed in.
Did it get better, or did we just integrate ourselves in?
Well, hold on, no, but wait,
the players in the league averages around that time weren't worse. We just got better.
Hold on. Do you actually think that? Why is it that 75% of the NBA is black?
Right now?
Yeah.
I mean, well, it was a certain point around 1965 where a law passed where we can actually...
Why is it that 75% of the NBA is black?
Because we integrated into the league.
No, because the best players are allowed to play in the NBA.
Well, actually, the best players in the NBA are European-born. They're not even African-American.
I mean, a couple of them are. As I said, we're very proud.
No, we're very integrated within sports, but what does that prove?
That proves that the NBA is not built on DEI. It's built on excellence.
No, the NBA isn't proof. So when you mention DEI, you're now saying that it's...
You obviously don't know what DEI is. DEI...
How I know what DEI is if you're not giving me a proper explanation on what it is.
DEI is racial quotas.
Racial quotas?
Yes. You've never heard of DEI before. So, do you know what a racial quota is? You have to have a certain amount of a certain race. That is what United Airlines did. Mm-hmm. We must get to 50% of our pilots to be black or women. Therefore, if the NBA said 50% of our players have to be white, I guarantee you, we could try to get as many Serbs and Croats as possible. It's not going to make the NBA the best league. Instead, the NBA has a policy of which the NBA and the FAA and the United Airlines should have the same policy. It doesn't matter the color of your skin. It matters how good you are at what you do. So excellence matters.
Wait. Okay. So what you're saying is, everybody's good? So what you're saying is the NBA
is a great example
No, it's a bad example. Because in the example that I gave you, I said when you say a black or female pilot might be less qualified because of DEI, what you're implying is that they didn't earn their spot.
Correct. They didn't, because that's what DEI does.
That's your imply?
Because you're there because of the quota, not because of excellence.
Does DEI give you the opportunity because of who you are, or does it open up access?
No, it gives it because of literally the color of your skin.
Charlie, you are quoted by saying that, guys,
Everyone knows the quote because it's true. When you hire somebody...
What's true?
It's true because they're there not because of their merit, but because of a racial quota. Why is it that only 8% of pilots right now for United Airlines are black or female?
It's actually 3%.
Oh, that proves my point even more.
And no, it doesn't. It's, guys, DEI is the reason why they're not in these positions. But it's because they're... Listen.
Man, you are making no sense at all.
That's cool.
No, explain to me what...
Diversity, equity, and inclusion is the... Sorry, okay.
Explain to me what a racial quota is.
Diversity, equity, and inclusion is the reason as to why accesses are now open to certain races.
Hold on. Can a black person not become a pilot before DEI?
What are you saying? Was it equal opportunity or was it equal access?
But
was it equal opportunity? Was it equal access?
It's
Charlie?
equal. Both.
It's both.
Yes,
it's equal opportunity and it's equal. I could not go to college in 1964 with a free ride, free paid tuition, but you could, Charlie.
Hold on. First of all,
are y'all just forgetting that the last 50 years of historical context happened?
This is
crazy.
How did that?
That's crazy.
How does that impact you? And wait, do you have a free ride right now?
Do I have a free ride right now?
Yeah.
I go to school.
Who pays your tuition?
Who pays my tuition?
Yeah.
I don't want to share that on.
You just said you had a free ride.
I don't want to.
Wait, hold on.
I said in 1964,
No. So it's 2025. Let's stay focused on today.
So in 2025, even with equal opportunity and open access,
it's not.
That's what diversity, equity, and inclusion is. It opened up access for people like me to get these opportunities.
But so someone has to pay for your college. Who's paying for it?
You're saying someone has to pay for my college?
Yeah. So taxpayers are paying for your
college. Deposit the money into the bank right now.
Well,
show me your bank account. It's taxes.
Wait,
Charlie Kirk.
This is a publicly funded institution. But
the publicly funded institution, we are one of the. It's top three. ISU, University of Illinois Champaign, and the University of Illinois Chicago. 3 schools, universities that are getting funded more than other universities in Chicago. So yes, we do get funded more. Yes, I'm well more access to get a free ride. But what if I went to Chicago State University?
Right.
Would I get a free ride then?
I wouldn't recommend anyone goes to Chicago State.
Why not? Why not?
It's a terrible school.
Well, Charlie, are they funded?
I don't know the specifics.
You don't know the specifics.
It's not exactly a reputation of a great school.
I can tell you, Illinois State.
It is not a funding issue.
Illinois State gets 92% of funding in the state of Illinois for universities, for public universities. Chicago State gets basically none, virtually none.
Okay, great.
What you're saying is, it was opened up accesses. What I'm presenting to you is that the access that I was allowed.
Okay, so what do you mean by access? What
do I mean by access?
How do black people not have access to a better life in America? What's preventing them?
What's preventing black people from having a better life in America?
Yes. What's preventing them?
Police, the government.
Hold on. No. Police. How many unarmed black men die? How many unarmed black men die from the hands of police every year? Nationally.
Are you serious?
How many?
Charlie Kirk, we're talking about something that
No, you just said police. How many unarmed black men die at the hands of police every year?
Did I say that is the reason why
you just said police?
Policing is an issue.
You're right. We don't have enough police on the streets of black neighborhoods.
The normal police department is well more funded than our normal libraries.
What is the number 1 cause of black death in Chicago?
Are you serious?
Other blacks killing blacks.
Are y'all saying other blacks?
Yes.
Other blacks?
Who's killing the blacks from Chicago? A bunch of kids from Highland Park?
Black, 22% Hispanic. That's very, very, very broad. Where are those locations at?
Where
are those locations at?
No.
You're saying East Garfield? You've never been to East Garfield in your life.
Yes, I went once and I'll never return.
You're from East Garfield? You've never been to East Garfield in your life.
Tell me very clearly.
So we're saying these broader locations is these smaller locations.
Who is killing the blacks in Chicago? Who is killing them?
Of 1,000 African Americans who you're taking statistics from communities.
Who is killing? No, I want to have a conversation with you.
What did you expect, Charlie?
Who is killing them?
Who is killing African Americans?
Yes.
People are killing people.
No. What race is killing them?
Why are y'all trying to act like African Americans are just solely murdered? People are killing people.
No. What race is killing? Is it white people killing blacks or blacks killing blacks?
People are killing people, Charlie.
Okay. But hold on, what race is
You're
killing
saying
the other
what race is killing what race more? That does not matter.
It does matter because it's a black-on-black problem.
It's a
and blacks need to solve the problem of black-on-black violence.
Is it a black-on-black problem or is it a crime problem?
It's a black-on-black problem that is a crime problem. Because I'll tell you what, if it was a bunch of kids from Deerfield coming in with guns, it would be a white problem. But somehow, if it was a black-on-black problem, it's a crime problem. It's systemic injustice. If the police don't have enough funding.
What you're saying is, Charlie, you're forgetting that these locations that you're bringing up are secluded by these races. So these races might not, they might have an easier time with policing, and yeah, they're going to have nearly response time of 2 seconds.
Wait, it's the police's fault that so many blacks are killing other blacks?
Who just said that?
You did.
I said that?
Yes. No, but no, I want you to tell me, why is it that black Americans are 13% of the population, yet they commit 55% of the murders?
Where can you show me that?
Again, it's FBI statistics. It's well known.
FBI statistics? Where can you show me that at? Can you give me
ask ChatGPT, ask Grok.
Why would I ask ChatGPT when ChatGPT has shown, proven, what?
Prove it. Again, anyone near you can show you the stats, right? It's right there. Look. Man.
Let's read it. 70% of offenders were African American. Wait, pull it back up. Boo, yeah. Charlie, for the sake of myself, I really do appreciate the ability to debate with you, man.
I want you to think about what I asked you.
Okay, you mind if I have a hat?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was an instant fact check right on air. Like,
give me your perspective on DEI, and because based on what I heard earlier, I feel like you don't think I belong here.
Oh,
because
really? Why?
Of how I am a black man, and because of DEI, I'm not qualified enough to be here. Yes, I am.
Okay, great. Then you belong.
But why do I have to prove that to you?
You don't. You brought it up. I didn't.
Okay, but can you explain to me your position on DEI?
Yes, people should not be in positions just because of the color of their skin. Hard stop.
Okay, but do you feel like I'm here because
I'm not feeling anything towards you, actually. Okay, I'm not prejudicing you. I'm not stereotyping you. I'm saying that it's a material.
I'm not saying you are. I'm not saying you are.
No, you are. You said I don't feel comfortable being here. You started with.
I didn't say I wasn't comfortable being here. I said I feel like you made it to where I got here through DEI.
So let's examine that. What have I said that makes you feel that way?
When you mentioned how DEI is only just putting people of color and marginalized groups in spaces, even if they're not so
correct.
Qualified.
That's exactly what DEI does.
But that's not all that it does. You're categorizing it as something it isn't.
No, that's exactly that is the charter missions.
That's not all.
Okay,
that it
so
does.
diversity, equity. So equity is outcome based. Okay. Is about making people who are of different skin colors have the same outcome, regardless whether or not they are qualified. The best example we have of this is the Students for Fair Admission Harvard Supreme Court case, where black students, they could have a SAT score 300 points lesser than the Asian equivalent and still get into Harvard. That is DEI in practice. I believe when you're hiring for an organization or for a company or for whatever you are doing, you should prioritize merit and character, and race should mean nothing. We should build around things that matter and not things that don't matter.
Okay, but you have to also take into the fact that black people have only been able to completely legally be able to make profit for themselves for around 60 years. And this is, no. Since segregation ended in 1965 and the Equal Rights Act in 1965, so what you're telling, there's not.
How did that, so let's talk about you. How did that impact you? How did something that happened 60 years ago impact your life?
It impacts me all the time.
How?
Okay.
You're at Texas A&M, you're doing great.
Okay, yes, sure, yeah.
So aren't you a living example that all that's a bunch of nonsense and you could just act good and, behave well and succeed?
But there's also living examples of the exact opposite. If you look in the impoverished neighborhoods in certain parts of Chicago or St. Louis, there's black communities being thrown aside because they're not getting education.
Thrown aside? Okay,
yes,
so I think we can get somewhere. Why have the black community gotten poorer since the passage of the Civil Rights Act? Tell me that.
Because of the way the culture has been perpetuated through the years.
Hold on. Think about it. So they were richer when we were segregated and more racist. America's become less racist.
What about Tulsa?
Yeah, no one's going to defend what happened in Tulsa again. But let's talk. We're talking about a lot of different cities. We're talking about Chicago, Tulsa. But let's again. This is a very important point. Do you think the fact that 70% of black youth don't have a dad around is probably pretty important?
That's because of the culture.
Respectfully allow me to interject. How does the white culture impact the fact whether or not a black dad stays around when he impregnates a woman?
I'm not saying it's the white culture.
What is it?
The culture that has been perpetuated through the 200 years of slavery, the 100 years of segregation, and Jim Crow laws.
The marriage, so I got to interject again, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt too much. But in 1960, before the Civil Rights Act, 20% of black youth had a dad around. Now it's, 20% were single fathers, 80% had a dad around. It's been inverted. So we actually have seen black dads run away from their kids the last 60 years. Why is that?
Because of the raised incarceration rates, because of the perpetuated culture.
So how does one go to jail?
That's obvious. I'm not answering that question.
Yeah, so maybe it's because they committed crimes?
Okay, but when you're forced it's not just this is old, this is in the past, this doesn't affect you anymore.
Okay, so actually let's take a different group. How did the Holocaust impact Jews? They're doing pretty well.
Well, because they got reparations, we didn't.
How? What reparations did the Jews get?
Through acknowledgement, through money, through
we acknowledge slavery happened. So,
okay, but you're sitting here and acting like it plays no role.
No, but to your argument, the Holocaust was 80 years ago. Half of all the Jews on the planet were killed. Everything they earned was taken. Jews are doing great. If all of a sudden something that happened 80 years ago impacts your material prosperity, how did Jews defy the curve? How did poor Asians do so well? Why is it that Asians are now the wealthiest minority in America, many of whom came with no money in the 1950s or 60s?
Because of the culture and opportunities that were provided to them.
But you're not hearing me out. Black Americans have had the same opportunities. However,
people still look at us like criminals every day.
Hold on, but I don't look at you like a criminal.
I'm not saying you do, I'm saying some people do.
But I mean, do you want me to be brutally honest with you, or do you want me to be politically correct?
Brutally honest with you.
Okay, do black people commit more crimes than white people? It's not even close.
Okay, but you have to take into account the culture that has been perpetuated.
Okay, got it. So we can agree on this. Do you mean internal black culture?
It's not. It's deeper than that.
Do you think? Let's take time out. Do you think the average rap artist that a black kid in the hood is listening to is glorifying marriage and family and saving your money?
That's what sells because it's a culture thing. It's not just within the black community.
I agree. No, but hold on.
Everyone listens to it. It's not just isolated.
It's bad for everyone who listens to it. The point being is that black youth, as they are being raised, their role models are largely not glorifying staying with one woman, getting married, going to church. And if you're wrong, show me the black role models that are doing that. There might be a couple I could think of, maybe. But if it's about culture, you're right. The internal black culture has collapsed the last 60 years. We're no longer elevating the family. We're no longer elevating staying with the person that you're with. So our contention here as conservatives is that the systemic racism stuff is a bunch of rubbish. Instead, it's systemic bad choices.
Do you feel that systemic racism isn't real?
Of course not. What can I do that you can't do? Name it.
Okay.
No, seriously. What can I do that you can't do?
Fallacy. That's a slippery slope.
No, it's not.
I don't know why.
Very simple. No, because back in 1940, you would have been able to answer that question. Well, Charlie, there's a bathroom over there that I can't go to. There's a major league team.
I can't walk into the grocery store and get the same looks that you do. I walked into Brookshire Brothers a couple of weeks ago when I was looked at.
That's an insanely hyper-paranoid way of living life. But that's not evidence, right?
It's a real example.
By the way, if I walk into a black neighborhood, I get bad looks too. Okay, so I don't know what the contention is.
Because of the way you treat our culture and the way you perpetuate.
Oh, wait, hold on. The way we treat your culture, we have gone to such great calisthenics and ridiculous gymnastics to prove that we're not racist. In fact, it's the worst thing that you could be called in America. We had, during George Floyd 2020, we had hundreds of millions of dollars given to Black Lives Matter. I don't know where that money went. Did it improve material worth of black America? So, I mean, and we actually do know where it went, actually. And so, but going back to your main contention, when you practice DEI, because that was your main point, right? You are rewarding bad culture. You even acknowledge it. You are saying that someone should be there based on the color of their skin. We say skin color doesn't matter. If you want that position, work harder study harder, and then you might be able to get that position.
When we're forced into underfunded communities where schools are based off of property value, we can't.
Well, actually, school choice is now the law of the land here in Texas,
okay,
so
well,
that's not correct. Secondly,
do you just expect a single-parent home to pick up and move into some rich neighborhood?
well, again, so let's go back to why are they the single-parent home?
Because of the hundreds of years.
Do you believe in the maxim or the belief that you should take responsibility for your decisions?
It's not just one person's decisions. It's so much deeper than that.
See,
why are you trying to?
That's where you and I have a different belief. You believe in this.
It's not. It's a fact.
No, it's a belief. Again, you have to tell me then, why do Jews do so well? Holocaust didn't impact their material worth. How did Asians do so well? And by the way, even more so, why are Hispanics getting so much wealthier? If we were so racist, why are Hispanics all of a sudden gaining income the last 20 years? There's something.
It's a difference in culture. But it's a difference in culture. The way that each culture is treated is so vastly different in America.
But again, you have to tell me, other than bad looks at the grocery store, how else is your future, you as a man in America, not a black man, how is your future somehow restricted by racism?
My natural hair is seen as unprofessional when I go into an office or workplace. When I walk around in certain places, people just assume, like I've said earlier, the dirty looks. When people think you are automatically the worst of the worst solely because
we don't think that.
You've interrupted me like 10 times
because
now.
you think you know what white people think, and you don't.
I don't know what white people think.
Then why do you keep on saying you know what white people think?
I've seen it. I'm not
you've
saying
seen our thoughts?
I've seen what people have done to me and people who look like me around the world and in America.
How? But again, you are. Let's just make an example. You are here in the wealthiest country ever.
Yes.
At an amazing university with all the opportunity imaginable in front of you. And all you want to do is look backwards at everything that prevented you when you are a glaring example that there is no systemic racism and you can actually achieve your wildest dreams.
Whoa, I never said that. Hey, I'm not the only black person who exists out there. There's so many people who this culture is affecting to this day.
Do you know black Americans are the richest black people on earth? You cannot find a black majority country or any country where black people have significant representation where they are as wealthy, because even the poorest people in America are in the top 5%, the top 2% of wealth around the world. And so my whole belief is stop acting like you're a victim and start making better choices.
Not acting like a victim, whoa.
Respect.
This is not a victim mentality.
No, it fundamentally is, because white people are not out to get you. There's nothing. There is nothing holding black people back. Let me say that again. There is nothing holding black people back. In fact, the opposite. You can get into colleges with lower test scores.
But
you could say things that white people can't say and not be fired for it. Black people are wildly disrepresentation.
Well, people say that to me all the time, and they just walk around like it doesn't mean anything around here.
Say what? Say the what?
The N-word. I'm not going to say it on this public platform, but people say it to me all the time.
Derogatorily.
Yes.
No, I think you're lying.
Why would I be lying about
So you're trying to tell me at this campus, did you report it to student services?
I'm not. I have too much on my plate to worry about this.
So you're going to say at this campus, you're going to indict the moral character of Texas A&M.
I'm not indicting the moral character of Texas A&M.
Oh, yes, you are. You're saying that.
I'm indicting the moral character of one person or a few people.
Oh, now it's one. So you heard it all the time, and now it's one. Got it. So
it's not okay. You're taking me out of context.
This is the point: is that I don't believe you, because now you resort back to a race hoax to make it seem as if the white kids on this campus are like racist and terrible.
White kids.
Oh, so was it a black guy that said it to you?
I'm not.
It matters a lot, because this is how lies are able to grow. Jussie Smollett, we see this. You have to challenge them head on.
Do you think I'm lying when I say that people say the N-word around here? And just
if I think a white person comes up to you derogatorily and says, shut up, N-word, I'm not
saying they said it.
I said, are they saying it derogatorily?
But that doesn't mean it's word for word like that.
But, okay, so then it's not an insult then.
Anytime.
So then don't bring it up as if it's evidence of racism.
Because you brought the N-word up first. I didn't.
No, I didn't.
No. You specifically said, name me an instance of the N-word.
No, I said black people can say things that white people can't say. Of course that's true.
But that's automatically implying that one word.
It's more than that. But let me just kind of build this out further.
What is it then?
There's a lot of things black people can say.
Explain it to me.
You want me to give you more examples of things? Yes. Black people are allowed to talk about black culture in a way that white culture cannot. For example, black people can go up and say that there's a baby mama problem in black America, and white people are not allowed to say that. Oh, I just did. So what are you gonna do, cancel me? Black people are allowed to say, I'm
a grown man, I got way too much to worry about.
Black people are allowed to say that there is a systemic fraud issue within the PP loan application in black America. Black people are much easier to be able to say that black individuals, despite being 13% of the American population, commit 55% of the murders. If most white people say that at a job, they would get fired for being a racist. I don't care because I say whatever I want. So black individuals have much more intellectual public freedom than white people do. If a white person were to come up and say, you know, black America really needs to get its act together and stop sleeping around all the time, and it needs to actually have monopoly.
Why would you?
Because it's true. Because
why would you just walk up to someone and talk and attack their culture from the outside?
Well, hold on. Hold on. Let's look at the evidence. You said to myself, you said there's all these people suffering in Chicago. There's all these people that are terrible. I'm telling you why. It's because there's been bad decisions that have been institutionalized. Let me finish. And rap artists and athletes and people at the top level of black society that refuse to ever challenge the core rot in black America, which is that they are allowing degeneracy and hedonism to eat the soul of what once was a beautiful black culture, and instead they go around saying it's the boogeyman of racism, the white man is out to get you, and the result is black America is doing worse than it was in the 1960s. That is the contention, period.
It's not just, it's a culture. It's so much deeper than the present day we are in. I don't know why you're pretending like it just doesn't matter.
What doesn't matter? You mean things that happen? Again, I've been through this multiple times. Let me just ask you one.
But you're not listening to understand. No, you're listening to reply.
No, I'm doing both actually. And so, but let me just ask one final question, right? Mm-hmm. Which is that you have your entire future ahead of you. Mm-hmm. When you are hired for a job, would you rather be hired because of your race or because of how qualified you are?
It doesn't boil down to just that.
That's what DEI is, man.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
It is definitionally the hiring of people.
They're not just going to immediately see. You
get extra points if you're black with DEI. That's how it works. Racial quotas elevate people based on the color of their skin.
So do you think I got extra points to come here?
I don't know. You said you were qualified, but affirmative action was institutionalized in Harvard and in Texas and a lot of other places. There is nothing that is preventing black people from prospering. Nothing. The only thing is that you guys have been hypnotized to be victims of your own mind, to think as if there's a white person out to get you. I walk in the grocery store, they look at me differently. All that stuff is complete rubbish. The thing that is preventing
real life experiences. You're just denying my experience I just shared to you in front of all these people.
If you think that, okay, let me just be very clear.
I know.
America has come really far if your best example of racism is getting bad looks in a grocery store. We have made incredible racial moral progress. That's only
my experience. There are so many other people out
I'm
there.
happy to hear every example that they have. It boils down to this. We are not just a racist country, we are the least racist country ever to exist. We go out of our way not to be called the R word, to demonstrate that we aren't racist, to show to people that I have compassion for others and that I want to try to help people of different skin color. But at its fundamental core, I have to go back to this. I don't actually think skin color matters that much. I don't. I want a country that aims towards MLK's dream of one based on content of character and one on competency. I think the hyper-race obsession of this country is really bad. It's really bad for everybody involved, including black America. And I would just ask you, what would you do to improve the material well-being of black America? What is your solution?
Education.
Okay, we've spent trillions of dollars on education.
It's not
trillions.
You need to fundamentally change the system of education because there's not enough funding. Teachers are not paid enough anywhere. Let's be honest. We need to seriously fix our education, especially when public school education comes from property taxes. When you're in a low-income neighborhood, you're not going to get high-income teachers.
If you had to choose more money for education or more dads for black kids, what would you say?
That goes hand in hand. Education goes into
I agree.
Family planning.
That's why if we get more dads into homes, it starts solving the problem.
No, education is what solves the problem.
Well, hold on, but again, if you're just educating and there's not a dad at home reinforcing it, we've seen this play out. We see this in Chicago. In Baltimore, we've spent hundreds of billions of dollars in Baltimore, Chicago, Detroit. We have entire classes of kids that can't read at grade level. We have incredible examples of this, and it goes back to this. If you want to have a privileged life in America, very simple, start acting a certain way. Our belief system is that you come down to the most foundational family unit. And when that breaks down so severely, don't be shocked if that group, when it acts that way, stays in poverty over a longer period of time. Asians are incredibly loyally married. It's one of the reasons why Asian Americans do so well in this country. Hispanics do very well. White Americans increasingly are not doing as well.
They also came here by choice too. My ancestors did not come here by choice, but
okay, so
we don't have to go too far into that.
We don't have to go into that. I want to get the next question. Again, you should be kissing the ground because you're right. You didn't come here by choice. But
why are
the
you
other,
telling me to?
Hold on, I'm telling you right now, you should be kissing the ground with gratitude because you're right. You are not in Africa, and you should be thankful you're not in Africa, that you're in the United States of America. That's my end of contention. Thank you very much.
Hello my friends, it's good to see you for yet another video, and this is going to be a tough video to make. I'm going to have to really watch what I say or I'm going to get kicked off of this platform for good. This video does not contain any calls for violence and does not condone violence in any way, but I am going to explain to you as a working class American how the vile, absolutely horrifying nature of America in its current state starts at the top with Donald Trump and has worked its way all the way through our society so that Americans can't even sit down and have a meal with their family members now without being portrayed as some sort of demonic presence that is trying to destroy the world, based on the top, coming down from Donald Trump all the way through our society. So as we know, yesterday, Charlie Kirk was killed. Obviously that's not something you want to see in America at all. But I'm not going to get on here and blow rainbows up your ass and try to tell you that Charlie Kirk was a good person. Because the fact of the matter is, Charlie Kirk was not a good person. Charlie Kirk was a grifter that recognized a long time ago that it is very profitable to lie to the American people. This is a very common thing in right-wing media that is backed by billionaires looking to protect their interest and their interest alone. The billionaires will pay news anchors and content creators millions of dollars per year to protect the billionaire's interest at the cost of Americans every day. Charlie Kirk recognized that and he took advantage of it a long time ago, but Charlie Kirk is a much worse person than that. Charlie Kirk was a race baiter who took every chance he could to call for how do I want to say this, the demonization of anybody who wasn't just like him. Charlie Kirk was the same person that not that long ago said that if he were to get on an airplane and he saw that it had a black pilot, he would question if that pilot was actually qualified to fly that plane. Charlie Kirk is also the same person that said he's okay with the deaths of some people every year as long as we get to keep our Second Amendment rights. Ironic twist at the end, my friends. I'm sorry to say, ironic twist at the end. Charlie Kirk was a lot of really, really terrible and awful things. Charlie Kirk was a homophobe. Charlie Kirk was openly a racist. Charlie Kirk was a grifter that spread hate speech throughout the United States in an effort to protect the elites of America. I can't apologize, because if you want a good eulogy on this channel, you have to be a good person, and those are simply not the facts. However, I was shocked by the entire thing yesterday. See, my friends, I did a very, apparently a very stupid thing yesterday, was I tried to take the high road. I saw that this was happening, and I was recording a video as this was going on. I had just found out that Charlie Kirk had been shot. He was not dead yet, while I was setting everything up to record a video. I went ahead and recorded the video. I was a little bit behind. I was going to release it an hour late for you guys because I was waiting for everything to get done on YouTube as far as uploading and the checks and everything go. And by the time it was time to release that video, I had found out that Charlie Kirk had died about 2 minutes before I was going to release the video. I decided that yesterday wasn't the day for it, that I was just going to hold my tongue on what I had to say, and I would get back to the thing today, and I hoped that I would see some calming voices in America, and we could start to maybe take just a fucking day, my friends, to not be animals to each other, not fucking treat each other like shit, and realize that political violence is a very slippery slope that we could be heading down in this country. And my friends, I found out how quickly that was a fuck up on my part. Because the video that I put out this morning was the one I was going to release yesterday, which discussed a little bit of the tensions between the MAGA movement and the rest of the Americans that don't have their heads up Donald Trump's ass. I decided yesterday wasn't the day. only for hours later to watch Donald Trump sit in the Oval Office and demonize the left and talk about how the violent left has once again killed another person in America. Donald Trump talked about the need to silence the left, the need to go after all of them, is what he said. From the top of this country all the way down, before a suspect had even been taken into custody. After Kash Patel had fucked the thing up so bad, he'd taken 2 people into custody, went on the internet to claim they had the person, then had to go on the internet and say they had to let the person go. Kash Patel has already botched this entire fucking thing at this point. But we sat there and we listened to the president call for action to be taken against the left in America, my friends. That is what we saw. And I realized when I saw that, and I saw everything that came after that, I realized that yesterday wasn't the day for me to play nice. Yesterday wasn't the day for me to keep my thoughts to myself. Yesterday was the day to kick the motherfuckers while they were down. Because that's the way they treated us when they don't even know what the fuck is going on. I said I had to watch what I say when I started this video, huh? I'm gonna breathe for just a second because I am absolutely furious at the President of the United States and his actions yesterday, his calls to action against American people without having any clue why this could have happened. Well, I want to tell you today, look, this video might be outdated by the time I release it. There may be a suspect in custody. We may, over the next few days, find out who this person is and what their motivation is. But as of right now, the recording of this video, we do not know what the motivation of this person was. There's a lot of reasons in this country for people to be fucking angry right now, okay? And like I said at the beginning of this video does not call for any violence. What I'm explaining to you is how we could end up in this situation in America, how we have fallen this fucking far, that this is where we're at now. And I know that political violence has been a thing for a long time in America, and we don't even know if this one in particular is political violence. But we have to sit back and think about everything that's going on in this country. And like I said, how it comes from the top down and has infected this entire fucking country. All right. Donald Trump has openly been calling for violent attacks against the left for a very, very fucking long time. Donald Trump has been mobilizing his forces, forces, quite literally, we'll get to that in just a minute, but mobilizing the right-wing influencers and the right-wing media to be absolutely vicious to the left in this country. Donald Trump has decided, oh boy, I lost my words there. Donald Trump has referred to the American people that do not think exactly like him and fall in lockstep with him on every one of his absolutely psychotic policies as the enemy from within. Where the fuck do you think I got the name from this channel? It's very similar to when Hillary called Donald Trump supporters the basket of deplorables, and then they all started referring to themselves as deplorables. You guys remember that? That is the same thought process that went into coming up with the name for this channel. Donald Trump sat right there in an interview and referred to people on the left, fellow fucking Americans, as the enemy from within, because we have the audacity, my friends, to believe in equality, to believe that regardless of your race, gender, sexuality, religion, things like that, that you are not a lesser person than us. Because we have stood up as much as we can against Donald Trump's fucking fascism. Because we have refused to let him take over the country and do what he wants against the American people, up to and including deporting people with no due process and putting them in concentration camps. Donald Trump has called those people the enemy from within. While I spent all my life growing up listening to people wave their fucking flag and talk about the land of the free, those are the very same fucking people licking the boots of a fascist right now. Do you understand how frustrating that might be? It's extremely frustrating. And when I talked about Donald Trump and his troops, Donald Trump has openly declared war against the city of Chicago. Now, we know that he turned the troops on the city of DC and the city of Los Angeles, claiming that Los Angeles had riots and Washington, DC had out-of-control crime rates, and none of that was fucking true. But then Donald Trump decided to rename the Department of Defense the Department of War, my friends. And shortly after he renamed it the Department of War, he posted an AI image on the internet saying that the city of Chicago is about to find out why it's called the Department of War. Donald Trump has openly declared war on the city of Chicago. Donald Trump has declared war on the American people. The people on the right don't see a problem with that. You don't see an issue with Donald Trump declaring war on an American city at all? Not even a little bit? And on top of that, Donald Trump has been incredibly destructive to the working class Americans in this fucking term that he's in right now. And all the bullshit aside, I'm sick of hearing all the bullshit propaganda talking points about how this is the greatest economy in the history of the world. Through Donald Trump's failed trade policies, his tariffs on all these other countries, jacking up the prices for average everyday working class Americans, Donald Trump has been destructive in a number of ways. Small businesses have went under because of Donald Trump's failed policy. The farmers currently are going bankrupt because of Donald Trump's failed policy. As a truck driver, I am telling you, I am witnessing the loss of jobs in the trucking industry. 17,000 people just last month in the transportation sector had lost their jobs. And this is all due to Donald Trump's failed economic policy. So when you think about all the people that have been damaged by Donald Trump's presidency in just this term, it makes it really hard to narrow down who might be fucking angry out there, right? And then we watch as, I gotta breathe, my friends. I hope I don't get kicked off YouTube on this video, my God. But we watch as Donald Trump does the most heinous things to the American people. Donald Trump collapses the economy. Donald Trump causes us to lose money, lose our businesses, lose our paychecks. Donald Trump rounds up our cousins and our brothers and our sisters and our coworkers, and they drive them off in a van and they throw them in a concentration camp. No due process. No due process. It is as likely that this was a person on the left that was very disturbed by all the hate speech, all the hateful rhetoric from the right that may have done this. It is equally possible that it was somebody on the right who has been absolutely fucked by Donald Trump's policies. And it doesn't matter who it is. The people in America are fucking angry. The people in America are fucking angry for all the right reasons. We have been nothing but screwed ever since Donald Trump came into office. He fucking crashed the economy the first time around. And this time, it's not even about the economy anymore. It's so much worse than that. Donald Trump is mobilizing the military against U.S. citizens. We don't see the problem with that. We don't see how that might make people angry. Really? And look, like I said, I don't support violence. I am not calling for violence. What I'm saying is that when you push people to the edge so far, the way that the Trump administration has, the way that the right-wing influencers have by vilifying everybody that's different than them, the way that the Fox News has. I mean, my God, we can't even drink out of a goddamn straw without Jesse Waters trying to out you to the world as a homosexual because you just wanted a beverage. That's where the fuck we're at in this country. And these Charlie Kirks and what's his name? The fucking hardcore Nazi one. Nick Fuentes, Joe Rogan's, all these people that lie to the American people. It is not shocking to find out that Americans are pissed. That's not the shocking part of fucking any of this. And I'm so frustrated with yesterday, my friends. I am so goddamn frustrated. You think I wanted to skip putting a video out? I make money here too. I make money on this fucking platform too. You think that I wanted to skip putting out a video? That I wanted to put everything aside for just one day and say we can get back to bickering and arguing with each other tomorrow? We can get back, and not that everybody in the world has to listen to me. That's not what the fuck I'm saying. But I thought maybe this is a moment where we could all just take the fucking high road for a second. For a fucking second, we could take the high road. And it came from the top all the way down, all the way through America. While Donald Trump sat there and viewed his... spewed his vile shit towards the left in America. We watched as Jesse Waters declared war on the left. We watched as many social media influencers declared war on the fucking left. my friends. There ain't a single one of us, I don't know, I can't speak for everyone out there. There's a lot of us that lack empathy or sympathy or whatever for what is going on. Charlie Kirk himself said that empathy is one of those new age words that causes harm to the American people. Look, if we're just going by his wishes, don't be mad at us. That's what he said. That's what he fucking said.